Samuel Okujeto Abrakwa, MP, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Mr. to the appointment committee for consideration and report. Yes, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we appreciate the step taken by you to bring to the attention of the House this communication from His Excellency the President, particularly so when same was signed by him. We note that quite a number of the appointees, the nominees, are from Parliament, and we therefore appreciate the work of this chamber. On our side, we want to signal the government that we will treat the nominees on case-by-case basis. Those who disrespect rule of law and encourage violence, we will have to make a case for them to know that violence cannot be used to enjoy democracy. Mr. Speaker, we also disappointed in the choice of the President. There are a lot of women on his side. We've had over 30 women being elected to Parliament from the NDC majority side. In view of the affirmative action posture of the country, we have passed the affirmative action law, and of all these hard-working women, only a few of them have so far been given substantive ministerial appointments. Is it the case that they are matching them for deputy ministerial appointments? That is not right. Our women cannot be second-class appointees. Mr. President must demonstrate his belief in the capacity, the capability, and the competences of our women. And he must demonstrate that. The Nana Akufo-Addo government demonstrated that women have equal capacity as men, and he demonstrated that. He did that in all his appointments, and the records are out there for all to see. Mr. Speaker, this is Greater Accra. This is Greater Accra. A government should have a representation of all shades of opinion. All stakeholders must find space in a government. In this government, we are not seeing indigenous guns in this government. Yes, we are not seeing. We are not seeing sufficient indigenous gun adangways.
Leader.
In this government.
Leader. Hold on.
Oh, very well, Mr. Speaker. On point of order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaker.
Yes.
arise on a point of order. That the minority leader, I'm an authority on the rules of parliament. Mr.
Okay,
Speaker,
Honorable Dafiamapo.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable
Mr.
Dafiamapo,
Mr. Speaker,
if you are the authority, then
Mr.
give us the
Speaker, with all
order.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect,
I was just
Mr.
overlooking
Speaker, with all due respect,
what this side was saying.
Mr.
But
Speaker,
if you say
Mr.
you
Speaker,
are
arise on a point of order in terms of misinformation.
no, the point
Mr.
is
Speaker,
the point is
Mr. Speaker,
Nelson.
on the matter that
Nelson.
on the matter, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Nelson.
Mr. Speaker, on the matter that the
Honorable
tangent the
Dafiamapo.
minority leader is taking, it's a very dangerous one.
Honorable leader.
You rise and you speak about tribalism. You
Honorable Dafiamapo.
Speaker.
Honorable Dafiamapo. Honorable Dafiamapo, please. I said earlier on, Honorable Dafiamapo, I said earlier on that it is the leadership that will help the chair to manage the House. So if you are speaking and I want you to hold on and you didn't listen to me, then I find it a bit problematic. Because minority that was speaking, you rose up. I just saw you. I asked him to stop. So if you're also speaking, and for whatever reason I'm asking you to hold on, you should also respect the chair. Anyway, so you conclude.
Speaker, with all due respect to the minority leader, the tangent that he's taking is very dangerous. The minority leader, the tangent he's taking is very dangerous for the cohesion of this nation. The president has not exhausted his appointments. The president has the executive authority to make over 7,000 appointments. Over 7,000 appointments. We run an executive president in this country, and guns will continue to occupy a very important and enviable position in this government. So the claim that is made on this floor, this hallowed floor, he must withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. Number one, he will withdraw. He will withdraw because there's no basis for putting out such an information. Mr. Speaker, you must urge it upon the minority leader to withdraw that comment.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, second, Mr. Speaker, the business before us. Before you decided to invoke item number 1 on the order paper to, as it were, read the communication from the presidency to the House, was for us to conclude the debate on the motion that's been ably moved by the chairperson of the Appointments Committee, the first deputy speaker, and seconded. We have agreed on the number of persons who will contribute towards the debate. So, Mr. Speaker, may I urge you that we conclude that business, because as we speak, that business is in abeyance. Let's conclude that business. Then the minority that can have his say and whatever it is on this matter, then we can bring finality. But may I urge you, may I plead with you, that we conclude the business in respect of the motion that is presently pending before the House. I humbly submit. Thank you very much.
Well. Yes. Honorable Majority Leader, Minority Leader, I still keep up. No. I want Honorable Afenyo to be on his feet. I want him to conclude what he was saying so that we... No, Honorable Afenyo, Honorable members, the House is run procedurally. He was speaking, somebody came on point of order. So after the point of order, I remember.
Speaker, with respect, if you bear endure, Speaker, if for nothing at all, I'm in leadership. And in this House, the convention and practice has been that when any of us in leadership rises, I think we'll listen to the person. Would you listen to me?
Yes, I want the majority. I will listen to you, but I want a minority leader to conclude what he was saying. Then,
if he concludes, what I'm going to say will be mute. I want to respond to some of the things Honorable Dafemi spoke to. Speaker, I thank you. I thank you for your patience. First of all, I want my colleague, who I know eventually will come into leadership, to appreciate one fact. It's a marathon. 4 years, you are going to be in leadership for a marathon period. You should hasten slowly. Yeah, this temptation of my colleague suddenly getting angry. So listen. He suddenly gets angry, he gets into a certain mood. It's inappropriate. First of all, you made a point which, Honorable Dafemi, it was totally inappropriate to say that I am an authority on the rules. The interpretation of the orders lies in the motion of the Speaker, not you. You cannot be an authority when it comes to the interpretation of the rules. That is wrong. Speaker, so he should get that correctly put out. Again, if I were you, when the leader was speaking, I would rather be taking note. He's made very important points. You are not listening. Take note and transmit same to His Excellency the President. They are conspicuously missing our guns. Is that not a fact? We don't have guns in the appointment so far. How many airways are there featuring in the appointment names that are put out so far? You should take note and communicate same to His Excellency the President to make amends. Don't show aggression. Well, you can decide to defend it, but so far the names that have come out, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader couldn't have captured it better. He said guns are conspicuously missing. What is your defense to that? Airways are conspicuously missing. The Constitution makes provision for regional balance in such appointment. You should know this. You know this. And so, our advice to them, you have, and besides the point, Speaker, is he available leader or is the whip? I don't know which is which. Is he the available leader or is the majority whip? You should rather take a cue and communicate same to His Excellency the President. Honorable, what's the Madina? Sit down. Sit down. He is obviously seeking attention for His Excellency the President to see you. You have lost out in the selection. What do you want to say? You have lost out. Sit down. You have lost out. The names are out. The guys have lost out. The airways are lost out. You should be communicating this with His Excellency the President, not defending it. What are you going to say? Stop defending it. It's wrong.
Honorable members, we can take things lightly. At times, if you are not careful, we can also instigate certain actions. I think it is the prerogative of the president to nominate ASAE. And I know the Constitution also enjoins him to at least be guided with regional balance. I believe he might be doing that. I have personally not checked with the names, but if minority leader sees, you have checked. So, honorable member, let it finish so that we can go to the substantive matter. Because these are all, let's minority leader finishes so that we can go to the substantive matter of the second appointment committee's report. Please, minority leader, please finish it up for us.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I shall refer my colleagues to Article 35, 5B. 6B of the Constitution, 35(6)B. Quote, towards the achievement of the objectives stated in Clause 5 of this article, the state shall take appropriate measures to achieve reasonable regional and gender balance in recruitment and appointment of public officers. The state and its government is headed by the president, who alone has executive powers of state. If you read Article 58 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, Article 58 of the Constitution provides the executive authority of Ghana shall vest in the president and shall be exercised in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. So I agree with you that Mr. President has the prerogative, but that prerogative, as you again said, must be exercised within the ambit of the Constitution, and that is provided for by Article 35, 6B. Mr. Speaker, my observation is well-founded. So far, we have had chief executive appointments. These chief executive appointments to state-owned institutions have no regional balance. These appointments have no regional balance. The appointment to ministerial office thus far cannot be said to have a fair representation. I've already argued the gender imbalance. I've already made that argument. I will not go there. We have Western region. We have Central region. We have Greater Accra, which is predominantly made up of Gans and Adanges. We have Volta region, generally made up of Evers and Loss. How many of them are being appointed into this government? We have Oti region. How many from Oti are getting the opportunity? Mr. Speaker, if you go to Upper West, Northeast, Mr. Speaker, in the Northeast, they are predominantly Mapuches. Yes, it's a fact. Yes, it's a fact. Are we seeing a representation of them? This is a constitutional requirement. It is in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, all we are saying is, Mr. President, check the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, maybe I should walk my colleagues through memory lane. When President Kufuor, listen, please, colleagues, we are not just talking. When President Kufuor was in office, I recall, was it his first term or second term? Mr. Speaker, in his first term, it got to a point during the appointment, somebody asked President Kufuor about this same matter, and he said, oh, he's made an appointment to Upper East Regional Minister. He said, no, in your cabinet, at least there should be a representation from all corners of the country. Upper West, very well, thank you. Mr. President, at the time, therefore, made sure that somebody was appointed to fill a Minister of State.
Asim Kasanga.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Professor Kasim Kasanga therefore came in to fill the lands ministry. Our friends should listen. You have come into government. Any useful comment you oppose, you are behaving as though you are in opposition. Please listen to us. At least when you first made that first mistake of letting a secretary to cabinet, secretary to president write to us, and we corrected. Now today, Mr. President himself is writing. Mr. Speaker, I would plead with my colleagues that when we make comments, they should convey to the presidency. Honorable Dafia Meko is now telling us that Mr. President has up to 7,000 appointees to appoint. He says Mr. President has 7,000. Really? So it is no more 60 appointees. Now you are saying, you are telling us that 7,000. So you are going to appoint 7,000
Honorable leader,
soldiers.
Thank you. You've made your point.
Let me conclude. He is now saying that we should wait. Early days here, the president is going to appoint 7,000 people. So that we are going to have 7,000 appointees. That is what you are telling us. Mr. Speaker, if that is true, then we'll wait. We'll wait for the 7,000 appointees to come, and then we'll now assess them on whether or not there is a true balance. Because I am looking forward to seeing Ewes, Gan Adangwes.
Thank you,
looking forward to seeing more Kusasis and Mampushes, Gonjes, Dagombes in this government. I want to see more of them. We don't want one-way appointments.
Thank you, leader.
It should be constitutional. Thank you so much, sir.
Well. Let me give you to Comfort. Do you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, we have government business to do, but I will respond to this gender and Gabangbe issue. Because when it comes to gender, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the best that you can clap for. Because when he was starting, he started with a woman as his vice president. And the woman is there to fight for women and hold the door for women to pass through. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised 60 ministers. And he's supposed to take 50% of the ministers from this chamber.
More than 50%.
More than 50% from this chamber.
Yes.
And we have 16 regions. So if even one region is giving two, it will be 32. So if every region is giving 2, and he has given Greater Accra 2, he has not finished with his appointment yet. What is the big deal? Because Honorable Sam George is Dange. Honorable Namomo is a Ga. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama lives in a Gan land, and he gives that respect to the Gans and appreciates the vote he got in the Gan land, and he's going to do the needful. So please, Mr. Speaker, let me tell you this story. When a woman is disappointed in his husband, you see that he assumes talking, everyday talking, what is not even necessary to argue about, the woman will be arguing. And this is exactly what is happening to the MP. This
Thank
is
you.
exactly what is happening
Thank you
to the
very much.
MPP.
Thank you.
Please allow government business to flow.
Thank you.
We have the second batch of the nominees to appoint.
Thank you.
The motion has been moved. Mr. Speaker, move straight to the debate. 2 year, 2 year, one leader, making 3. Finish. So that President Mahama will get the right people to manage this economy for us. We are ready to reset Ghana. And we are in a hurry to save Ghana from the mess they created. So their plenty talk will not do us anything but sabotage the work of government business. We are pleading with them. They have already exhausted their time, and Ghanaians are not happy, and they voted for us to come and work. So they should allow us to work. Mr. Speaker, second issue. Any first deputy speaker, second deputy speaker, we carry them along in this chamber. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, who is Honorable Ahiafo, has been in this house for the past 12 years, has helped the MPP government with their laws, their bills, and he has done a lot to support them. And all this while, we have been carrying all their first deputy, second deputy speakers along. If he has been well trained and respect each and everyone in this chamber, doesn't mean we should take his respect for granted. Mr. Speaker, they should respect his leadership. They should respect his leadership. Today, I'm not happy at all because ever since he became the first deputy speaker, all their plans is they will take advantage of his respectfulness, and then yes, that's exactly what they are doing.
Leader.
If he has been well trained, doesn't mean they should take advantage of that and disrespect him. That's what I think. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader, I think the first deputy speaker is fortified enough to go through this. It's
Mr.
part
Speaker,
of the...
they should stop the harassing him. They always want to harass him. They should stop it.
The harassment is for all of us.
Will not take it.
So,
they should stop it because it will tend to another thing. They should stop it. The man is a very, very respectful person in this chamber.
Honorable Comfort, do you? Like I'm saying, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, he has what it takes to go through this. So, I mean, he's fortified enough to... so, I mean, let's take this as part of the game. Yes, Honorable Member for Asante Achem Central.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful. Mr. Speaker said that I rise to ask from the chair for direction, Mr. Speaker. I know there was communication from the president, and the leader got up to make a comment on that. So, Speaker, I'm realizing that we are doing a debate on this, and I'll be very grateful if the chair will direct where we are. This should not generate into a heated debate, and I think comment that was made should not be, and in my view, should not be a harmful comment, and it wasn't harmful indeed, and it has generated into a debate which should not be. So, Mr. Speaker, it's about time that we curtail this and move on. There are other things that we have to do, and I'll be grateful if we can proceed and end this debate. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, honorable members. I think Honorable Ahmed Dukulu has said the right thing. So we are moving on. Let's turn to page 3, item 12. Item 12, motion by the chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity to move the item numbered 12 at page 3 of today's order paper that notwithstanding the provision of our own standing order 1041, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the second report of the appointment committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers may be now moved. Mr. Speaker, I so moved.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, motion 12 has been moved. Any seconder? Yes, the minority leader.
Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, motion 12 is procedural, so I'll go ahead to put the question. All those in favor that motion listed 12 be adopted, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. Now let's take the substantive motion 13.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the motion number 13 at page 3 of today's order paper, that this House adopts the second report of the appointment committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers. And Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I present the committee's report. Right, Honorable Speaker, the President's nomination of Honorable Governor Kwame Agbodza as a Minister for Roads and Highways, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, Minister responsible for Education, Honorable Eric Opoku, was referred to the committee responsible for appointment. Mr. Speaker, the committee, after due deliberations and vetting of the respective minister designates, present this particular report to the House for consideration. And Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to adopt the report after further urging the Hansard Department to capture the entire report as having proceed to look at paragraph 7.0 of the report, that is the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, the committee, in accordance of the provisions of Article 78(1) of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Standing Order 217, deliberated on the 3 ministerial nominations made by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. The nominees exhibited competence, extensive knowledge, and exceptional skills in addressing matters relevant to their respective ministries. The committee therefore recommends to the House by consensus, Mr. Speaker, consensus, unanimity, the adoption of its report and the approval of Honorable Kwame Governor Agbodza as the Minister responsible for roads and highways. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Kwame Governor Agbodza currently is the majority chief whip. Mr. Speaker, we further recommend for adoption by the House Honorable Haruna Iddrisu as minister responsible for education. He was the former minority leader. And Mr. Speaker, finally, we recommend that the House approve Honorable Eric Opoku, who has been a long-standing ranking member on food and agriculture. Mr. Speaker, respectfully submitted. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the motion has been moved and it's now for secondment. Yes. Honorable Member for Futu and the minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, on this rising, I am to second the motion, and I'm doing so. I want to make some few observations. First, to commend the chair of the committee for his industry in seeing to it that we conduct this exercise. Mr. Speaker, the report of the committee is a 7-paragraph report with unnumbered pages. I shall start first with Honorable Haruna Iddrisu. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, an experienced member of the House, distinguished himself during the vetting process. But our side of the House had some issues regarding some key policy commitments of the NDC in its manifesto. Mr. Speaker, the NDC in its manifesto made a commitment to Ghanaians that it was going to ensure free first-year tuition for our children going to the tertiary. So in other words, parents, upon hearing this, voted for them, thinking that if the NDC should assume office, the first year fees will be paid. Is this NDC government telling Ghanaians that there is a voice for taking vote and another voice for governing? That when they campaign, they say one thing, and when they govern, they say another? Mr. Speaker, what I was expecting the respected Honorable Haruna Iddrisu to tell us was that the government was going to call for the total enrollment and order the universities not to levy the students or waive it, and government was going to reimburse the universities. What are we hearing? What are we hearing? That the parents should go and look for money and pay and apply for refund. Let it be heard here and now. We don't trust your government to do refund. This was the answer given to us during the hearing. The Honorable Haruna Iddrisu said that students will receive refund when they apply. Mr. Speaker.
Leader.
Oh, is that the path we are going to go?
I don't know.
Mr. Speaker, is that the path he has moved? I'm seconding
This is that the path we are going to go. Mr. Speaker, if you entertain this thing would degenerate. Mr. Speaker, he has moved this motion. Mr. Speaker, he has moved this motion as an opportunity. Why
Ne
not?
devrait pas l'être.
All right.
Moteno, c'est moins de frais pour ceux qui empruntent.
You
Plus de...
move the motion, please. Let's indulge him, so that, because we have to move. So, leader, move on.
They so think they are in opposition, where everything they will get up and react. Please, Bojidi, patience. Mr. Speaker, we expected this government to have issued a directive to the universities that don't charge fees. Parents, poor parents, have gone for loans to pay school fees. Poor parents are struggling. Some people have their admission letters. There is no money. They cannot go. And you are telling them that you should pay, so we refund. What of those who will not get the means to go? What you are saying is that if they don't go, you won't pay. Mr. Speaker, is this another form of matricle policy? Mr. Speaker, this is unacceptable. If the NDC government means business, that it is committed to a social intervention program, such as providing free tuition for first-year students, it should do so. And now, Mr. Speaker, the records of Hansard, will testify that when the Akufo-Addo government came into office, free SHS policy was not deferred. Indeed, it was implemented there and now, the very academic year. Mr. Speaker, the very academic year. Mr. Speaker, the government of Akufo-Addo did not defer the implementation of free SHS. In spite of the doubts on the policy, the government implemented free SHS in the first academic year that the NPP assumed office. Clearly, the MDC has no such commitment. It is obvious that they misled the people of Ghana into believing that they would enjoy free tuition at the tertiary level for the first year. Mr. Speaker, what is happening is shameful. Parents are in pain. Parents are suffering. Parents feel misled. The university, Mr. Speaker, the university academic year started in January. If you don't know, I'm telling you, there's a university in my constituency. In January, the SSC result, the WASSCE result, came out in December. Students bought admission forms, relying on your first year free tuition policy. They bought the forms. Mr. Speaker, I want this government to conduct a survey in all the universities, all the tertiary institutions. Mr. Speaker, very few students who got admission have so far made it. Very few, because parents cannot afford. Because parents cannot pay. And instead of just taking the records, all you need to do, Mr. Speaker, all that the government needs to do is to go to all the universities, all the tertiary institutions, take the records of all those who gain admission, and give a directive
that allow them in and we will reimburse you. Why do you tell them that students should pay and that you are going to refund? Mr. Speaker, what it means practically is that those who are unable to pay, they cannot attend the university. They will stay at home so that they will add up to the unemployment burden, and then these same people eventually will have no hope and they may get involved in some thuggery in the country. Mr. Speaker, I want the Minister of Education designate to take immediate steps upon assumption of office to issue a directive to all the tertiary institutions to forward the total enrollment to his office for reimbursement. That would be a true commitment that he's walking the talk. We will hold your feet to the fire. You think you just campaign, so you've gotten it on a silver platter. You will see. You say we are micro minority. You will see. You will see. With time, Ghanaians will see your true colors, and all of us will see your true colors. You will not have it free. We are going to ensure that we follow every single promise made. When you are on the campaign platform, promise it. Today, you are in government. Mr. Speaker, the second point is feeding at our secondary schools. President John Dramani Mahama promised and same was scripted in their manifesto to the effect that they were now going to release money to the head teachers to buy the food items. We are looking forward to that. The nominee gave some answers. We don't want to see anything less. The president said the issue about buffer stock, purchasing food items and distributing them to our schools, that policy was not helpful. So he would give the money directly so that they can buy the agbelema, they can buy the gari, they can buy the tuna and all. So, Honorable Education Minister nominee, if they swear you in tonight, tomorrow we expect you to be at the Ministry of Education. And we expect you again to implement this policy. No bend, no curve. You cannot move backwards on this matter. The head teachers are expectant. And then also, Mr. Speaker, the nominee promised that the many day schools will be converted into boarding facilities. He committed to that. We expect that you immediately take steps to address all of this. Mr. Speaker, that is that for the Education Minister. I shall now move on to my respected colleague, Kwame Agboja Govins. Mr. Speaker, Govins Kwame Agboja told the whole country, and this morning I saw that graphic had captured him on a good front page about the indebtedness at the road sector. What Kwame failed to tell Ghanaians was that yes, there was indebtedness, but many more roads have been constructed. What he failed to tell Ghanaians was that the Akufo-Addo government made sure that many roads, especially the Eastern Corridor Road, which was abandoned today travel within the city of Accra, Greater Accra. All of us, we are here in this city. We know how it is to travel, to drive through Greater Accra. We know. La Beach Road was initiated by the Kufuor government. It was initiated, Honorable Member for La, respectfully. Let me debate. If for some reason our administration could not complete, we expect Mr. Agboja to take immediate steps. We want the La Beach Road to be constructed, and we are waiting for it. Mr. Speaker, we expect them to find the money to pay the main road constructors who have done government work. We do not want excuses. We don't want them to create MPP contractors and NDC contractors. We don't want discrimination. We expect them to do what is right in the road sector. And we are waiting on them on this issue of road tolls. They say that they are going to do digitalization. We were of the opinion that they will lessen the burden on Ghanaians when it comes to levies and taxes, because they are committed to it. Now you are going to impose another levy. So, Mr. Speaker, when they remove the e-levy, they are going to look for the money on road tolls. So the value is the same. They claim that they are going to repeal the e-levy law and introduce road toll and even charge more. That is the conflict you are interested in. You are not committed to relieving the Ghanaians of the burden you claim was on the ordinary Ghanaian. I want you, if you indeed committed to the ordinary Ghanaian, don't introduce any road toll. Don't. Kwame Agboja told us that they are going to introduce road tolls. They are going to introduce more levies. They are going to levy the ordinary Ghanaian more. So you take one out, introduce 2 more. You take one out, introduce 10 more. Mr. Speaker, that is not acceptable. For Honorable Kopoku, Mr. Speaker, I shall conclude on him. He has said so many things about the agro sector. It is one thing being outside, and another thing when you have control. We are looking forward to he implementing all the policies in the agro sector. His records are there. All that he said during the vetting, Hansard has captured. From time to time, he will be asked questions. The commitment he made to the vegetable farmers, the commitment he made to the farmers, poultry farmers, the land tenure system that he says, oh, he's going to introduce something new. We are waiting. We wish him well. We really wish him well. But he should walk the talk. Mr. Speaker, this said, and without more, I shall rest my case and second this motion to enable this House debate and approve these nominees who, by the report, we have already agreed that it be taken by consensus. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much.
Honorable members, the motion has been moved. The motion has been seconded. It is now before the House for consideration. But honorable members, irrespective of the time the mover and especially the seconder has taken, I want to regulate the rest of the time. Please indulge me. I wouldn't allow members to go beyond 5 minutes. So I'm giving 4 to each side
Mr. Speaker, I don't want surprises. Mr. Speaker, I don't want surprises. We've agreed 5-5, nothing will change. With the greatest respect, if we do that, it helps all of us. We agreed 5-5 in conclave. Let's go by it. Nothing will change.
Well. Please, don't worry. Don't worry. I will take it. 5-5. But nobody should speak more than 5 minutes. Please indulge me. Because I understand the appointment committee, you have a nominee to even. So please, 5-5. 5 minutes. So let me have the list so that I will start from Honorable Member for Bawku Central. Please, 5 minutes. Help me so that we all work around this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak in support of adopting the report of the committee in respect of the nomination by Honorable Kwame Governor-Sargoja for the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and Honorable Haruna Idrisu for Ministry of Education, and Honorable Eric Opoku, Ministry of Roads and Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, we're all aware that these are all colleagues who have been with us in this Parliament and by the constitutional provisions are definitely qualified for the nomination to the various posts to which they have been designated. Mr. Speaker, a lot has been said about the nominees. And in seconding the motion, the Honorable Minority Leader, who appears to have studied the manifesto of the NDC inside out, and who appears to have fallen in love with the manifesto and the promises of the NDC. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, as I listened to him, I'm wondering whether he didn't vote for the NDC. Mr. Speaker, he shows so much love for the promises that we made. And every day he commits himself and promises that he's going to ensure that the promises we made to the people are implemented. If he doesn't believe in those promises, I don't see why he is that committed to the implementation of those promises. So, Mr. Speaker, I am happy to observe that the Minority Leader has fallen in love with the promises made by the NDC. Let me assure him that we have started implementing the promises. I can tell him on authority that the President John Dramani Mahama has already transferred over 101 million cedis to the secondary schools to deal with the purchases that he's talking about. I can show you evidence of the transfer. I can show you evidence of the transfer. That His Excellency the President is dealing with the issues in secondary schools. He has directed that food that we had purchased to deal with some other problem, but because of the emergency involving secondary education, he has directed that the rice and the maize be distributed to them. So the schools don't have a problem with food. They have enough food. And then in addition to distributing the food to the secondary schools, he has made direct transfers to secondary schools so that they can purchase ingredients that they need to provide food for the students. So we have started implementing the promises because we are people who keep to our promises. Just as we promise a lean government, and we are clearly implementing a lean government. We are promising equity in the distribution of appointments, and we are implementing equity in the distribution of appointments.
Thank you. Begin to wind up for me.
So, Mr. Speaker, we are not reneging on any of our promises. The Minister Designate for Education is needed at post to deal with the problem of the payment of fees by first-year tertiary education students. So if you approve him and he gets to office, he will definitely deal with this particular issue, which is clearly a commitment that we have made in our manifesto. So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, I urge colleagues to adopt the report so that we can give approval to the President to swear in these ministers so that they can hurriedly address the question of the payment of first first year university fees. So, Right Honorable
Abuja is a distinguished member of this House. From the version, there are many things that he brought out that he was going to do. And I think it's a question of monitoring to make sure the promises made will be promises kept. Mr. Speaker, moving on to education, the minister designate said many things. Of course, outlined his party's manifesto and pledging that the manifesto commitments will be delivered. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the fees for tertiary students, I think we've heard a lot about it. Look forward to a situation where universities will at least be encouraged to allow those students who applied to them with a hope that they will not have to pay the fees for the first year. Allow them to come in and not sit at home, because if they don't, they're going to lose their spot. And I think if this commitment is there, it's much, much easier on the parents if the government was to speak to the universities, asking them to give them grace and allow them to enter, and that their fees will be paid. I think it's a better option than closing admissions, shutting the door in the faces of those who thought it was going to be free and therefore applied, and telling them that go and look for money, and if you can look for money to pay, then we'll reimburse you and reimburse your parent. Mr. Speaker, in many reading the manifesto of the NDC, private schools participation in free secondary education, I'm waiting to see the fine details. Waiting to see the fine details as to how you abolish double track and keep the SEC going. Abolish double track right now. All first-year students of pre-sec will have to be sent back home. First-year students of Pokuwari will have to go back home. So I'm looking forward to the details of the proposal. But Mr. Speaker, having said all that, I have confidence in the expertise and the policy grasp of the minister designate. And I hope they will be able to implement all the policies that ensure that we continue to march forward in the area of education. So much has been done, and I would hate to see us take a step back instead of taking a step forward. So I look forward and expect that public school transformation will continue, that the middle class of Ghana, who are working so hard to find money to pay the fees of their children in private schools, that burden will be eased by creating quality public schools. We began a journey, and I hope that journey will be continued for the benefit of Ghanaians, to ensure that in our villages, leaking roofs will be replaced, and that will be able to create better learning environment for all children. We need to have a Ghana where both from deprived means and advantaged means
Honorable Member, you should begin
get the
to wind up.
opportunity for quality education. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. So let's turn to Honorable Eric Edemabana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the second report of the Appointments Committee on His Excellency President's nominations of the 3 senior members of this House for the various ministerial positions. I would want to respectfully begin with the Minister Designate for Roads and Highways. The Honorable Kwame Gavins Abuja, at the vetting yesterday, discharged himself excellently and displayed mastery over the sector. We are confident that given the opportunity as Minister responsible for roads and highways, Ghana's roads infrastructure will see some massive improvement. However, Mr. Speaker, it was quite alarming yesterday to learn that the previous government that boasted of constructing about 11,000 kilometers of roads in 8 years, all of that was nothing. Leader. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it is important.
Honorable Eric Edem Abena, I have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I would humbly plead with a minority leader to kindly allow me to continue. Mr. Speaker, the previous government made several claims about road infrastructure and the road networks that they constructed. But at the vetting yesterday, it was revealed that less than 700 kilometers of roads were actually constructed. And I think it is important for us to place these matters on record. I am confident that the Honorable Minister Designate, who was a very active ranking member on the sector in the previous parliament, will be able to discharge his duties very well and ensure that all the road infrastructure that we promised the good people of Ghana, President Mohammed's government will see to these roads being constructed, especially the road from Denu to Ho, which also passes through my constituency and also passes through the constituency of the Minister Designate. I would want to plead with him to make that road a top priority in his ambitions for the sector. The second nominee happens to be the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, who has been a mentor and a big brother since his days as a student leader. He was National Youth Organizer of the NDC, and since his coming into this August House, we can all bear testimony to the fact that he is an excellent legislator, and all the time that he has held ministerial positions, we have seen how he discharges his duties effectively. I am confident that under his leadership as Minister for Education, the sector will see some real growth and improvement. Mr. Speaker, currently, the education sector is one of the most challenged in this country. As we speak today, one of the things that is of great concern to me as a young person and as the MP for a constituency that can be described as a rural constituency is the fact that there exists a huge gap between rural education and education in the urban centers. Mr. Speaker, I look forward to a day where children schooling in Gbegbekopo Junior High School can make the same grades as children schooling in public schools here in Accra. I look forward to Honorable Haruna Idrisu leading the ministry to bridge that gap, especially, Mr. Speaker, learning that since 1992, he is the first Minister for Education from the northern sector. I believe that should serve as a motivation for us to do our best to bridge that gap. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, in my concluding remarks, with regard to the Minister Designate for Agriculture, we all know the Honorable Eric Opoku. He has become
not only an authority, but an institution on issues of agriculture. And he displayed that yesterday before the Appointments Committee. I believe that the agriculture sector will see some steady growth under his leadership. Mr. Speaker, the three nominees, I believe, constitute what we can properly describe as a solid team to move this country forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me now turn to Honorable Reverend Hitim Fojo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion that this House adopts the second report of the Appointments Committee, and in so doing, to congratulate all the nominees. I have every confidence in their ability to deliver, and they can rest assured on our support. In respect of the nominee for the Agric Ministry, it is our expectation that he will keep true to his commitment, that all the brilliant initiatives that he enumerated to the committee will actually translate to the reduction in food inflation. We are also expecting to see how he is going to not renege on his advocacy when he was very vociferous on the other side of the aisle when he was the ranking for our Agric Committee on the promise that if they were in power, they would have offered the cocoa farmer 6,000 cedis per bag instead of the 3,100 cedis per bag that our previous government offered our farmers. I wish him well in his endeavors. In respect of Honorable Kwame Abuja, he articulated a lot of competence and demonstrated his knowledge and experience in the built environment, and we are hopeful that he will translate those experiences into the new portfolio that he's been appointed to. However, his commitment that even though their government is going to initiate a new project, they remain true to the continuation of the massive road infrastructure and the road construction project initiated by President Akufo-Addo. We are going to watch closely to see that we are not going to see a cancellation of projects, we are not going to see suspension of road projects, and that those massive routes, which all of us across the length and breadth of this country pass on, will be continued to improve our infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, in respect of Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, it is my expectation that he will leverage on his expertise and the mark that he made when he previously served as Minister for Communications, even at age 39, subsequently also to the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Employment and Labor Relations, to navigate around the complexities of education ministry. I have every confidence in his ability to succeed. But on page 20 of the report, Mr. Speaker, for the first time, we see the nominee acknowledging the monumental policy and the vision of President Akufo-Addo, and noting that free SHS is one of the boldest steps in transforming education. Mr. Speaker, and I read, the nominee acknowledged that free SHS remains one of the boldest steps in transforming education in this country. I'm very excited that we have come to a point where free SHS that is touted as a visionary policy that ensures that a child of a watchman in a big corporation gets the opportunity to sit in the same classroom with a daughter of the CEO, and both have an opportunity for a brighter way of contributing to socio-economic pursuits. But on page 21, when the nominee was asked about his position on curriculum and pedagogy reform, he assured that at all levels of our education system, curriculum and pedagogy will be reformed to meet the aspirations of this country. Mr. Speaker, let me be quick to draw the attention of the table office to correct an error on page 21, paragraph 5.4. The spelling of pedagogy is not as has been captured. It actually ends with Y, not UE. Pedagogy does not end with UE, it ends with Y. And having noted that correction, we hope to see how Honorable Haruna Drisu will come to sustain the gains we have made in education outcomes, to continue the sterling legacies left by Honorable Dr. Yosef Duchum and Honorable Matthew Poku Prempeh, to ensure we do not go back to the era where in 2015 only 2% of our peoples in this country had the ability to read, but rather we will improve from the 38% as of 2022, the outcome of the National Standardized Test, to a point where minimum 90% of our learners will be able to read. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank you too. So it is now the turn of Honorable Lydia Lamisi Akanvaliba. But Lydia, hold on, give me 5 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much for indulging me. Minority leadership, the front bench. Very well, Lydia. You may go on now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion on the floor of this House, that this House should approve the 3 nominees by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. First of all, we want to thank the President for giving us people with the needed capabilities to take care of the various ministries that they have been appointed to. Starting with my brother, Honorable Kwame Abuja. With his wide range of experience in project management, infrastructure development, I believe that he is good for the job that he has been appointed to do. My only challenge in that sector is the debt of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis awaiting him. But I know that with collaboration with the Minister for Finance, he will be able to scale through to make sure that our roads are worked on. I know that the road from Bolaga to Plumakum is under construction. It has been there for the past 8 years. We were told that they have to readjust the contract. The contract has been readjusted, but the road has not been worked on. Traveling from Bolga to my constituency would have taken me just 1 hour, but today I need about 2 hours, even more, to get to Timpani constituency. And I believe that with his experience, he's going to do a good job and complete that route for us. It will be difficult for me to talk about my senior brother, Honorable Haruna Drusu. It is normal for a woman to say that my mentor is a woman, but for me, my mentor is a man. He acts as a mentor. I like his humility, with the fact that yesterday he was able to mention that he started his education from Kulikuli School. Those from the northern will understand what Kulikuli means. Kulikuli is a food made from granules. From that humble beginning, he has gotten to this level. It is just to tell us, especially the youth, that you can start from anywhere and even get to the place you want to be. Once you are determined, once you want to be where you want to be. The first time I met him was 2021 at Maros Hotel, when he told us on the 5th of January that a tortoise will ride an elephant. And we saw that happen. So I know that at the back of his mind, he can do things much more than we understand that he can do. And I believe that when we give him the nod this evening, he's going to move the educational ministry to a different level. He started politics not today, even from his school days. He became a news president, became the national youth organizer for the party. He has handled so many ministries with a wide range of experience, and that makes it no doubt that Honorable Haruna can do a good job. And this country will see an improvement in our educational infrastructure, the learning and teaching materials, even to a fact that he himself understands what education is. I know that by the end of the 4 years, Ghana Education Service or Ghana, the Minister of Education, will be a different matter as we speak today. Right, Honorable Speaker, I can't end without mentioning Honorable Eriko Poko. Yesterday, I like the way he answered the question, what is he going to do about marginal people in land acquisition? I believe that in the rural constituency like mine, women have challenges in getting land to farm. What they usually do is that when they give the land to the men, a small place under the tree, then they'll say the woman should go and farm her onions, her pepper, or her own tomatoes. Right, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I want to say that the people that have been appointed to this ministry, the President has done a good job, and I urge this House to this evening approve them. Haruna Adusu will say approve. We approve them.
Thank you very much, Teresa. It is now the turn of Honorable Fred Asamoah Echi. Yes, Honorable. Doc.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I hope you are titled Doc, eh? Dr. Yeah. Fred Asamoah Echi.
Yes, please.
Yes, let's hear you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the second report for the appointment of the Minister Designate for Education, Roads and Highways, and the Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture. Yes, I would like to start with the Minister for Roads and Highways. And I know the Honorable Minister Abuja is a respectable architect, and I enjoyed his interview. Honorable Minister Designate for Roads and Highways made a statement that it's cheaper to construct asphalt roads as compared to concrete roads. And it's definitely true because it costs about twice the amount of funds that one needs to construct an asphalted road as compared to concrete roads. But for the initial cost. But for the long-term cost, it's cheaper for one to construct the concrete roads because of its durability and longevity. So if the opportunity comes, I want to encourage that we do more of concrete roads since the long-term wise is going to be cheaper. Then also, he also committed to completing ongoing roads projects. And I believe that the one in my constituency, Offenso North, specifically Afranchua, Kumadai, and Kinkenso, and Gobreso will be completed. Then, of course, I want to move to the Honorable Minister Designate for Education. I have no doubt the Honorable Haruna has the capacity and the ability to deliver under the Ministry of Education. But on page 23, since this house is a house of records, the report is not too clear, and I read, he attributed the previous government's inability to achieve the initiative to expand TVET to 20 or 30. These are nominal figures, and I don't know what kind of description one will give to these figures. But I want to put on record that since independence, the just outgone government is one that has increased infrastructure as far as TVET is concerned, and so much investment has been contributed to TVET in this country. And we have been able to quadruple enrollment in the TVET sector, and it has to be acknowledged as that. And we cannot attribute the fact that we were not able to achieve our initiative to expand TVET to just capping GET1. And of course, everybody knows that the workplace requires that you have about 80% of TVET skills. But if you look at the whole report for the Minister Designate for Education, not much has been attributed to technical and vocational education. And we all believe that one will have to put his money where its mouth is. And I would have expected that at least, if not half of the report under education is committed to TVET, at least a quarter should have done the job. So that should be noted. Notwithstanding, I believe the Honorable Minister Designate, Honorable Haruna, has the capacity to be able to do well under the Ministry of Education. And I also believe that he has a soft spot for technical and vocational education. And as such, more funds will be allocated for technical and vocational education, because that's the surest way one can provide and produce the jobs that our youthful nation needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Samoa. Let's now turn to Honorable Zuara Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the motion being considered on the floor. Mr. Speaker, we are looking at approving the Appointments Committee report on 3 nominees to 3 respectable ministries of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, my first comment is in respect of the Honorable Kwame Agoja, Minister Designate for Roads and Highways. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Agoja presented himself
at the vetting yesterday. We all followed his performance, and Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that Mr. Agboja acquitted himself very well on the portfolio that he's assuming. Mr. Speaker, there is no gainsaying the fact that the road network in this country is one that we cannot write anything about. Everywhere, including in the inner and capital cities of Ghana, we find roads riddled with potholes, roads without lights, roads without shoulder facilities for transport vehicles to stop, roads without a lot of unnecessary speed ramps on highways. I think it's only in Ghana that we have highways with speed ramps. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Kwame Agboja gave insights into how he's hoping to help His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to address the debilitating road situation of this country. We all identify with him, and we are praying by the grace of Allah, he will be able to discharge his mandate as he has so far promised to the people of this country. In saying this, Mr. Speaker, I want to remind Honorable Kwame Agboja, Minister Designate for Roads and Highways, that on 5th October 2024, I had the singular honor of traveling with now President John Dramani Mahama to some parts of my constituency in the Klo Abromasi area. His Excellency the President saw for himself, and indeed he lamented and lamented and lamented the nature of the road. He made a promise to the chiefs and people of Klo that when he wins, and Mr. Speaker, he didn't say if he wins. He said, when I win and I become president of this country, my first priority is to see to working on these roads. I want to share this information with Mr. Agboja even before he sits in his office, that I'm going to come there. I'm going to come and remind him about the promise the president made to the people of Klo. Spoke about the Abromasi Road, the Kulpi Road, Pandai, Salaga Pandai Road, Salaga Bimila Road, Tamale to Salaga Road, Makango Road, Bunkwa Road, and Sarikingona roads. And Mr. Speaker, there's a very interesting development, and I thought I heard one of my colleagues allude to that. This phenomenon of new governments coming into power and either canceling or frustrating existing road contracts must stop. And I say this with particular reference to my constituency, where the just outgone government stopped a road contract that President Mahama had awarded in 2016, and for political expediency, terminated the contract on 20th August 2020. And as we speak, Mr. Speaker, the contract is at the same stage where it was terminated in 2020. That behavior is not acceptable. And we know that Honorable Kwame Agboja, a very enlightened politician, is not going to go on that route. Mr. Speaker, the second nominee,
and you should begin to wind up,
the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, the honorable leader, annexing the education portfolio. He gave us assurances at his vetting yesterday that he was going to work very hard to use education to bridge the gap of poverty and vulnerability. All of us know the damage that poverty does to a nation, where people are exploited because they are vulnerable due to the lack of education. We are hopeful that having experienced Honorable Harun Idrisu's leadership, we feel very confident that he's going to be able to discharge in this portfolio. Mr. Speaker, before I sit down,
Thank you.
Honorable Harun Idrisu, I'm sure will take steps to feed us with the right information regarding his sector.
Thank you.
And correct the misinformation.
Thank you so much. It is now the turn of Honorable Yindam.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to also congratulate the three nominees who have been given the opportunity to serve in this ministry. Honorable Kwame Agbodza, Minister Designate for Roads and Highways. Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Minister Designate for Education. Honorable Eric Opoku, Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, these are colleagues that I have worked with, especially Honorable Haruna Idrisu, as the majority leader and the minority leader. I know him very well. I don't doubt his ability to perform. I know very well that he will come out with policies that will bring some kind of relief to our educational sector, if any. Mr. Speaker, I want to take you to paragraph 5.12. And it has to do with, Mr. Speaker, a question posed to him about the licentiate exams. Mr. Speaker, teaching is a very noble profession. And it's not for nothing that the former government has introduced this policy to differentiate between a professional teacher and non-professional teacher. But when a question was asked about his position, he stated clearly that they were going to look at the system, but eventually they think that that policy should not be maintained. I have a different view, because in this country, almost all professions are practicing with licenses. So if you decide to abolish the teacher licentiate exams, what would differentiate a professional teacher from a quack teacher? It is so important, Mr. Speaker. We should not just say that because we've gone out there to promise the people that when we get opportunity, we are going to abolish the licentiate exams. Mr. Speaker, it's for a good reason. I'm not very sure that teachers will be happy that you just box them and there is no difference between a professional teacher and non-professional teacher. It's not a good thing. And I want to urge the minister to look at it very well. That policy is a very good policy. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about Honorable Kwame Agbodza, the road minister. He also came out with some policies, especially where he said they are going to introduce the road tolls and they were going to employ the PWCs. Good idea. Mr. Speaker, I will urge them that these PWCs that they are talking about, we will also follow closely to see the kind of employment they are going to give to these vulnerable individuals. It's a very important point. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate my brother Eric Opoku, but there is one thing I have realized, that when the finance minister was questioned about a proposal they have made to the cocoa farmers clearly on this floor, they promised them that if they get opportunity, they were going to increase from 3,100 to 6,000. When the Minister of Finance was asked, he invaded that question. The same way when my good friend Eric Opoku was also asked, he also invaded that question. I don't know if they can be bold enough to tell the cocoa farmers that they deceived them. Because it was clear that you promised them that when you get opportunity, you were going to move from 3,100 to 6,000. What is it that is holding you? My brother Mahama Ayerga just told us how you have started fulfilling your promises. We expect you to fulfill this particular promise. Else, just be bold enough and let the cocoa farmers know that, unfortunately, you have come for their vote, but unfortunately, you are not able to give them what you have told them. On this note, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge this House to approve these nominees and give them the opportunity to come out with their policies. We, from this side, like we rightly said, we are prepared to support you. Come out with the best, and we'll support you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. I am going to take my last batch of contributors, but there's no way I can overlook my own uncle.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to add my voice to the debate to approve or adopt the second report of the Appointments Committee on His Excellency President Mahama's nominations for appointment as ministers. Mr. Speaker, we have before us 3 of our colleagues who have been nominated by President Mahama. And these colleagues, first and foremost, qualify to be ministers of state by virtue of the fact that they are members of parliament. That's what the Constitution requires of ministers of state. I'll begin with Honorable Agboja. This country is looking for very credible persons to lead ministries in order that they will perform for the benefit of Ghana. And Kwame Agboja, having observed him in this House as a backbencher, rising to become the minority chief whip, has distinguished himself creditably. And I believe it is as a result of his performance that he caught the admiration of President Mahama and therefore nominated him as the Minister for Roads and Highways. I have a very firm conviction that Kwame Agboja will perform in this sector. Under his administration, members will be happy. Members from both sides will see massive road improvement in your constituencies. This is a very hard-working member of the House. And he has Parliament at heart. And having worked as a whip who was responsible for the welfare of members of Parliament, carrying this sentiment into the ministry, certainly members will benefit from his appointment. Haruna, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, Mr. Speaker, a distinguished member of the House, affectionately called by some members Lido leader, and some approved. Is a very hard-working young man. Mr. Speaker, This young man walked to me the year 2004 in my house when NDC had lost elections. Then a very young person came and disclosed to me his intentions to contest the Tamale South constituency to become a member of parliament. I had a pickup, I remember, and he requested for my pickup to travel to Tamale to announce to his constituency his intention to contest the elections in 2004. I could see victory in his face, and he is full of wisdom, knowledge, and very hard working. So I supported him to go. I am happy today. I feel so fulfilled that today, at this age in Parliament, I have somebody that I supported to rise, becoming the Minister for Education. I have no doubt in my mind that Honorable Haruna Iddrisu will perform. Under him, we will see improvement in the quality of education in Ghana, and also massive improvement in educational infrastructure in the country. I wish him well. For Honorable Eric Opoku, for those of you who don't know, I taught him in the secondary school. And I have my senior high school.
You taught him as people teacher?
As a teacher. And I have my secondary technical school then. And when he completed university, I was the chairman of the NDC in the Brown region. And he disclosed me his intention to contest elections. I supported him to contest the Sunafo South constituency. And by the grace of Allah, he won that elections, came to Parliament, lived with me for 1 year in my house. And at the time, I used to go on radio for radio programs, television programs, and he would carry my books, my references. He has learned. And today, if you watch Honorable Eric Opoku, if you listen to Honorable Eric Opoku espousing on agriculture, you will fall in love with this young man. He's a very good debater. He had debated very well on this floor to the admiration of many people, including Honorable Afenyo Makins, who describes him as a very knowledgeable person and very meticulous when it comes to facts. I'm happy you have said it is true. I have no doubt in my mind that those of us who are cocoa farmers, in addition to our political career, will benefit a lot from his knowledge and his performance. I wish to call on all members to support the adoption of this report in order that these young men will start work today. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Now we will take Honorable Asenso Boate. Comfort, I'll give you 2 minutes, but let me listen to Honorable Asenso Boate, the immediate past Minister for Roads and Highways. Yes, Honorable, you have the floor, but you work around 5 minutes for us.
Honorable Speaker, I rise in support of the approval of the 3 nominees before us, most especially the Honorable nominee, ministerial nominee for Roads and Highways, Honorable Kwame Abuja. Speaker, Honorable Kwame Abuja and I have known each other for many years. In fact, we were contemporaries at the University of Science and Technology. While he studied architecture, I studied urban planning and development at the same faculty of architecture and planning. And we also stayed in the same hall of residence, Independence Hall.
KNUST. In fact, when he was the vice chair of the JCR of Independence Hall, I was also the faculty student president for the Faculty of Planning and Architecture. So I've known him quite well. And since he took the leadership position in politics, he has been the foremost spokesperson for the then opposition in the infrastructure space. I believe that he's competent for the job, first of all, because he's a development professional and he brings a lot of expertise to his work. He's also been involved in construction management, which means that he has an experience in construction, which is the major aspect of road development in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I was not in the country, so I didn't have the chance to participate in his vetting. But he made some important points that I agreed with him. First of all, regarding the uncapping of the road fund. It's important that the funds that we get for road funds is ring-fenced and be given to the Ministry of Roads and Highways to especially undertake the primary assignment is supposed to do, that is road maintenance. So I agree with him on that. He also said that he will continue with ongoing projects. That is very important, and I commend him for that. And I think it's important that you put on record that the MPP administration also continued all ongoing road projects when it assumed office. He said that he will make sure that he will only implement projects that are budgeted for. Mr. Speaker, that is ideal. That's what's supposed to be done. And I wish him well on that. In fact, I wish him good luck on that. But he's coming into the space as an opposition MP, not that experienced enough in terms of ministerial responsibility, unlike the case of Honorable Haruna Drusu and Honorable Eric Opoku. And you realize that when you're on the seat, it's a completely different ballgame. So I wish him well. If he's able to do that, it will help. He also talked about electronic tolling. It's one area that I want to talk about in the next phase. That's the areas that I do not agree with Honorable Kwame Abuja during his vetting here. One, Honorable Abuja engaged himself in what I'll call political optimism, misrepresentation of facts regarding the number of roads that the Akufo-Addo administration constructed during its 8 years of service. In fact, Honorable Abuja is someone who has been passionate about criticizing the past administration regarding the number of roads that the Akufo-Addo administration constructed. Let me put on record, Honorable Speaker, that as at the end of December, per what is stated in the transition report, the Akufo-Addo government had constructed 13,624 kilometers of road, as against 4,630 kilometers of road by the previous government in 8 years. But during the vetting, Honorable Abuja just paid one component of the road construction, which is the construction of new roads, which is 673 kilometers, construction of new roads, to represent the total number of roads that the Akufo-Addo administration had constructed. And I thought this is misleading representation of facts, and it did not help in having
accurate and good debate on the floor. Mr. Speaker, out of the 13,624 roads constructed under the Akufo-Addo administration, asphalt overlay alone is 1,955 kilometers. You can all bear witness to asphalt overlay projects that went on in the country, in Accra, in Kumasi, in Sunyani, in Takoradi. Those are not new roads. Those are already existing roads that we put asphalt overlay to improve riding quality. We also constructed 35 bridges across the country. It's also part of the Akufo-Addo record of 13,624. Graveling and regraveling alone was about over 6,000 kilometers. Many of us are MPs from rural communities, and we know the importance of graveling in connecting people and bringing people together in these rural communities. So those are very important part of the road construction projects that were done under Nana Akufo-Addo administration. Mr. Speaker, reconstruction and upgrading of roads constituted 1,665 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, today, if you are reporting on construction of new roads, you will not talk about reconstruction and upgrading. Let me give you one example. Currently, the past government initiated the construction of Fanko in Sawam Road. That's about over 20 kilometers of road. That is an existing road, but it will not be, it's classified under upgrading and rehabilitation. So it will not be counted under new roads, but it's a major construction project with major funding. Today, there's Tema motorway reconstruction and upgrading. That is going to provide a facelift regarding the transportation network between the harbor city and the capital city. This will not be classified under new rules, but it's a major construction project that we know. And Honorable Abuja is somebody who is very experienced in this, he's a technical person, and he knows this. So I was very disappointed when he used just new rules to represent the total number of roads constructed under
Honorable Minister, I think you have the opportunity to give us a lot of information regarding to the ministry. So, but for now, I think you've given us enough.
Yeah, so, but it was important that I put that.
No, that's why I've endorsed him. I mean, all of the people who have contributed, I gave them 5 minutes, but because I was interested in the information.
But Honorable Speaker, this notwithstanding, I believe that Honorable Abuja is competent and has the capacity to manage the very important Ministry of Roads and Highways. And I recommend that he's approved so that he can go and deliver and produce results. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Honorable Asenso Boche. I'll give you 2 minutes. Honorable Comfordoyo, 2 minutes. Honorable Comfordoyo, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to add my voice to the motion moved by the Appointment Committee. That's my immediate boss. He has done all that he needed in this chamber. And that qualifies him more than what we are thinking to occupy that position. When it comes to Haruna Iddrisu, that one there is very marvelous. And I know he is going to deliver to the satisfaction of Ghanaians. And when it comes to Eric Opoku, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the lineup, then you will realize that we really have the men. If you look at the lineup, the first lineup of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, then you can know where the research is going to start from, because these are the men that have been in this chamber for years. And being in this chamber for just 1 year is even more than enough. Because this is where, from archaeology to zoology passes through. And they have learned a lot from here, apart from what they were taught in school. And that qualifies them to go and work in those ministries. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is not in a hurry. He is not in a hurry at all to crash this nation. Because 21st February 2017, His Excellency His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo came to this chamber and told us how he's in a hurry. And he ended up crashing the whole nation. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo didn't start his free SHS immediately. Mr. Speaker, we didn't interrupt anybody. We didn't interrupt anybody when they were speaking.
Okay. Honorable, I'll give you the opportunity, so let me finish.
Mr. Speaker, His Excellency former President Nana Akufo-Addo didn't start the free SHS in January. He started the free SHS in September 2017. So therefore, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in January cannot give any approval whilst his ministers have not been approved, because budget is yet to be presented in this chamber and ministers are yet to take position. Mr. Speaker, if His Excellency John Dramani Mahama cannot refer a letter to a cabinet session of his Flagstaff House, how can he refer to students who are yet to even resume? Some of them are yet to resume. And he has not even taken full charge. He's yet to take full charge. How can we say he should go and then speak about those who are now entering the university? He has promised and he fulfilled the promise. With Haruna Iddrisu in the seat, we know he's going to deliver when it comes to education. They are going to restructure the free SHS and make it attractive for every Ghanaian student to attend. Mr. Speaker, as Honorable Collins Dada said, he mentored him. I love people who mentored people. And today, he has reached where he is. His first constituency was Gupegu Sabonjida. He did everything he could as a young man, and he has reached this level. Mr. Speaker, I know he's going to deliver. Honorable Kwame Agbodza is going to fulfill the promise of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Contracts that were abrogated during 2017, all contractors will be moved to site to go and complete those jobs that were left for the good 8 years. From Kase to Adam for good 8 years. Contractor was being investigated, so now it's still the same, and nobody has touched that road. Mr. Speaker, we have not seen a bitumen for the old 8 years in Ada. And the cocoa rows that were abrogated that affected the farmers, and they couldn't bring their farm product from the farms to the market, and that has escalated the prices of the farm product. My brother Agboja is going to work on them, and we will see the massive improvement in this government. Mr. Speaker, please let me speak about Eric Opoku, because he is going to perform the magic when it comes to agriculture. So, Mr. Speaker, we have the men, and they are going to deliver, and they are going to make sure we move Ghana to the next level. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Honorable Ahmed, will say something.
Mr. Speaker, I thought that the language that was used by my sister, that Nana Akufo-Addo had crushed the nation, was too high. And I didn't want him to continue on that tangent. Let us be decorous and use a decent language. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senior Member. Yes.
Speaker, I rise certainly to speak in support of the motion. And let me start off by saying that all three nominees performed fairly well. I listened to them in detail. Honorable Kwame Agboja, my good friend. And Speaker, let me not belabor the point. The former sector minister has dealt with a number of inaccuracies that were put out. And so I wouldn't spend too much time on that. Speaker, the three of them sounded very ambitious, which is very good. We, on this side of the House, will be watching. We will be watching if indeed a review of the free SHS is not cancellation. Time will prove. If a review of the free SHS is not cancellation, time will tell. There is a huge expectation out there. And you have said that all the good works of the new patriotic party led by His Excellency Akufo-Addo will crash the nation. We hear you. We are just wishing you well. Speaker, in broader context, Kwame Agboja, who has displayed a lot of professional competence in the area of architecture, tried to answer most of the questions. However, a matter on the 10 billion infrastructure fund, a fund that you are promising $10 billion to support infrastructure. And mind you, infrastructure goes beyond roads, all manner of infrastructure. And you are the same people who are saying that you are going to reduce taxes. And you are the same people who are going to say that cost of living is going to go down. And you are the same people saying that the cost of KK is going to go down. And the size of KK will increase. Speaker, last week I was at Osu, a very popular joint where they sell good kenke. I went there to ask for the price of kenke. Oh, what time do you want me to ask it? Speaker, and the price of kenke is actually going up. The ex-pump price of petrol and diesel is also going up. Well, we'll give you time. We'll give you time to form your government, and I know time will reveal your true colors. Time, it will reveal your true colors. Indeed, what you should be doing, the Honorable Agboja, what the Honorable Agboja should be doing, is how you will get the balancing right. You have access to $10 billion. And you are saying that all the roads we started, you are going to complete them. And you are even going to add more to the roads we constructed. Is that not the case? We'll be watching. Now, you know that in this fourth Republican Constitution, under this fourth Republican Constitution, it is only the NPP, the New Patriotic Party government, that has implemented the free SHS successfully. NPP. Under the fourth Republican Constitution, it is the New Patriotic Party that has successfully implemented the free SHS. True or false? True or false? We know your review certainly means cancellation. Your review certainly means cancellation. We were just watching. If indeed so, if there is any group of people in this country who you need to take a cue from, it is Dr. Educhum and the MPP. Dr. Educhum and the MPP. I would rather advise you that you should humble yourself, seek understanding how we did it, and I'm sure that if you do that, you will be able to chalk some success. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Eric Opoku, visual of him also showed dexterity and understanding of the industry, and that you cannot take away from the Honorable Eric Opoku. But because they are talking big. Our colleagues are talking very big. The Honorable Opoku says he is going to ensure that agribusiness takes a good height. He's going to ensure that cocoa farmers are paid well. He's going to ensure that they are not just going to be paid well, we are also going to increase productivity. And he's also going to ensure that they stop the cocoa smuggling. It is possible. Well, the current global narrative when it comes to agriculture, three things very critical: smart agriculture, sustainability, and storage. I have scanned through your manifesto. Conspicuously missing is something on storage. There is no mention of storage. So how are you going to increase productivity and also ensure bumper harvest and availability of food? Not too long ago, the former Minister for Agric, he worked so hard that we have bumper harvest and we had a lot of food stuff in Agric. Yes. We had a lot of food stuff in Accra. Yes. Why? There were a lot of... Speaker, during the bumper harvest, I traveled from Isawam to Accra to get some plantain for domestic use. Then I saw a number of my colleagues on this side with their cars packed, ready to buy plantain and other foodstuff. And today they are saying that they will not recognize the good work of the New Patriotic Party. I only pray and wish you well. I'm only praying and wishing you well. The Honorable Kwame Agboja, who is promising to do all the roads, I hope our approach will not be partisan. It is not going to be partisan. We are going to put on the cap of patriotism, look at the real needs of our country, especially in the hinter areas. where foodstuffs are produced. We want to see more asphalt roads, not just in Accra, in other parts of the country where roads are linking production centers for agriculture. Speaker, the linkage between roads and food supply and reduction in the cost of food is so clear. It's so clear. And we are only bidding our time. Climate change, which has become a very topical matter, is haunting us. Dr. Rikopoku, with all his knowledge, could not situate the concerns about climate change and what solutions the NDC is going to profess in dealing with this matter, reducing the sustainability of food productivity, and also ensure that there is abundance of food. If for nothing at all, at the Greek sector, under the new patriotic party, we had a lot of food. A lot of them were made available at the ministry. And people were traveling all over the country to come to the ministry and buy food. They traveled from all over the place, came to the ministry to buy food stuff. Please. As we are, I'm speaking in support of the motion, but these are important lessons that we want to nudge and draw our colleagues' attention to. Please, you have 4 years to perform. You have just 4 years to perform. I'm praying that Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Kwame Abuja, and Honorable Rikopoku will live up to the billing. When they succeed, the country succeeds. We pray that they will live up to the billing, they will deliver on the deliverables, and very soon the price of Kenke will indeed come down. And also the size of Kenke will increase. With these words, I want to support the motion and to support the adoption of the report. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate,
Mr. Speaker, I have seen my respected colleague, the first Deputy Speaker and Chair of the Appointment Committee. I would hold on to what I would want to say. I will plead with you to hold on a moment. I would want to engage him privately, as is always the practice. Then, soon thereafter, if I have some comments I would make on this matter. Mr. Speaker, I would want you to indulge this. I want to engage you.
Leader, can you keep your discussion outside as we go on? Other than the house will be kept in abeyance.
Mr. Speaker, my humble suggestion is that looking at the numbers in the chamber, we do not have what it takes to carry the motion. That is why I wanted to have some engagement. But we've closed the debate. We are done with the debate. We would have to perhaps do some further engagement and know the direction we are going. But as it is, if you look at the numbers in the chamber, we don't have. So, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very clear on what it takes to take decisions. And I would want to strongly make the appeal to you that looking at the numbers in the chamber, we don't have what it takes to take a decision on the three nominees. So we now would have to put the issue of putting a question on ice so that we see to it that things are done right. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, I will engage the First Deputy Speaker in chair outside the chamber so that we come back to have further discussion. Well, if you say no, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, I have pointed out the law to you. If my colleagues in the majority are of the view that in this chamber now, it is right to put the question, you can go ahead. But at least I've told Mr. Speaker what it is.
Leader, well noted. If you want to raise the quorum, then come appropriately. Then we move it from there.
There are ways to solve a problem. I have spoken enough, and I've drawn attention to this matter. There are ways to solve a problem. So I've drawn the attention.
So yes, Honorable Buama.
Mr. Speaker, I believe if you look around, we don't want a situation where a decision is taken and is challenged. It will not be in the interest of the House. Let the chair of the Appointments Committee who moved the motion and the ranking member confer. The rules permit you to even suspend the House so that the majority can do the needful. I beg of you. That is another way. Otherwise, there are decisions and constitutional provisions as to the number that can take a decision. And we know.
Honorable Member, I share your view, but what I'm saying is, then you invoke the right constitutional provision. If we have to ring the bell and see whether members are in their rooms, they can come. Other than that, then go ahead and adjourn the House.
Mr. Speaker, that's why I'm begging of you to at least suspend the House for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. I'm sure we'll find a way around it.
Yes, Honorable Susu.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of practice, I believe that when debates are over, what is required by our standing orders is that you put the question. When someone seeks to challenge the voice vote after you put the question, the person may call for division, the bell is rung, and we give ourselves time to have our members in here. Mr. Speaker, I think this practice of asking the House to suspend just because someone has done an observation and is of the view that we don't have the number, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that is borne out of the procedure of this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I respectfully pray that you put the question so we move forward.
Yeah. Honorable members. Honorable members. Yes. Honorable members, kindly indulge me to suspend the House for 15 minutes.
No, we are waiting. We are not going.
You have the numbers. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the mood of the House, Mr. Speaker, is that the question be put. That's the mood of the House. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Dafiamapo.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dafiamapo, hold on. I was about to put the question, but I get the inclination that we didn't have the numbers. And honorable members, will you listen to me? I got the inclination that we didn't have the numbers. And very well, honorable yes. Honorable, but hold on. We will.
Mr. Speaker, our due proceed as had earlier been indicated. Thank you.
Honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, all those in favor that motion listed 13 in today's order paper be adopted, say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, it's obvious the ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. And that this Honorable House has adopted His Excellency the President's nomination of Honorable Kwame Govins Abuja as Minister Designate for Ministry of Roads and Highways. Honorable Haruna Idrisu as Minister Designate for Ministry of Education. And Honorable Eric Opoku as Minister Designate for Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Honorable members, on behalf of the House, I would like to extend a word of congratulations to our colleagues. I think the three nominees or minister designates are all members of the House. We believe they will make us proud in their ministry that they are going to head. Leadership. Leadership in indication.
Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands because we have exhausted the day and we need to go and rest for tomorrow.
Yes. Honorable members, before we bring the curtains down, kindly allow me some space to express a word of gratitude to the leadership and to you, honorable members of the House, for unanimously and graciously accepting and endorsing my nomination to serve this honorable House once again as the second Deputy Speaker. I'm very thankful and very appreciative of the honor you have done me. Honorable members, let me pledge to this House, and by extension the whole nation, that I will be diligent, I will be unbiased, I will be impartial, I will be fair, and most especially, I will go by the rules of the House. For which rules we know are underpinned by the 1992 Constitution and our own standing orders. And I will do that in all my engagement as Deputy Speaker, most especially when I am presiding over the House. I thank you and I thank the good people of Formena who brought me here. And I thank my family who have supported me throughout my political journey. And I want to mention my wife's name, Mrs. Grace Osasen-Siama. For supporting me throughout my political journey. Honorable members, on that note, I would like to thank you once again for the honor you have done me. And doubt the House is accordingly adjourned to tomorrow, 12 o'clock in the forenoon. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock in the forenoon. The House stands adjourned.